Good morning. Craig Howard here. Happy to be with you again this morning. Did you ever think about why you go to church or why some people don't go to church? There's a growing number of people in this country that identify themselves as spiritual but not religious. I'm not exactly sure what that's supposed to mean, but researchers have identified um, what it means or what the advantages are of regular church attendance, and it's pretty amazing. 29%. There's a 20 for people that attend church regularly. There's a 29% reduced risk of depression. There's a 33% reduced risk of death. There's a 33% reduced risk of adolescent drug use, illegal drug use. 50% reduced risk of divorce, and 84% reduced risk of suicide. This should make a lot of people sort of challenge their look. The Bible tells us in Hebrews chapter 10 verse 25 not to forsake the assembling of ourselves together. Peanuts hitting on the thing. Not to forsake the assembling of ourselves together as the manner of some is. And you think, well, what's the big deal? Well, it is a big deal. Going to church has a positive impact on a person's life. And people think that that their lives can be fine without it. And, I can worship at home. I've heard the old saying, I can worship on the golf course. Yeah, you can, but do you? And even if you do, you miss the benefits of coming together and sharing in projects, sharing in worship, sharing in ministry, sharing of ourselves. We were not created to be individual social beings. That's the reason that so many social activities flourish in this world, because people want to be together. They want to be socially bound together. And while there's nothing wrong with a lot of the other social activities, none of them have the positive impact. Peanuts determined to hit that thing. None of them have the positive impact that worship services do, that church services do. The Bible tells us over in Psalms chapter 102 or 103 verse beginning in verse 2. David, it's interesting, David talks to himself a lot in the Psalms. If you read the Psalms, you find where David is always talking to himself and telling himself, self, here's what you need to do. And in this one, he's telling himself, bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not his benefits. One of the ways that we forget God's benefits is when we stop getting together in a place that honors God. When there's nothing wrong with getting together at a ball field. There's nothing wrong with getting together at a school function or something like that. But we don't get together to bless the Lord in those situations. We don't get together in those situations to be reminded of his benefits. This says, bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgives you all your iniquities, who heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from destruction. I know everybody thinks, of course preachers want you to come to church. That way they can claim they have bigger crowds and can take bigger offerings and blah, blah, blah. I could do a lot of other things besides pastor. I've had the opportunity to do a lot of other things besides pastor a church, but I'll tell you what, I haven't seen anything that has the impact on people's lives that being involved in a good Bible teaching church does. I've seen lives transformed. I've seen people's lives turned around. I've seen smiles on faces just as people walk in the door and are back together with their friends. Don't forsake the assembling of yourselves together. This Sunday, get to church. I don't care whether you come to Break or whether you go to some other church, but get to church. Of course, you're welcome at Break, but get to church. If you're able, if you're physically able, on Sunday mornings, that's where you should be. And by the way, I believe that includes Sunday school too. I believe there is a growth that takes place by regular attendance in Sunday school, especially for children, where they learn those foundational biblical truths. David in the lion's den, or Daniel in the lion's den, David and Goliath, and so on. Truths that God put in His Word to teach us powerful principles in life. So think about that when you're trying to decide whether to go to church this Sunday or not. God bless you in all that you're doing. Mom and Dad, if you're watching, I love you. Bye now.